leukemia vera on the list.
He didn't. But he
Today
didn't.
he doesn't.
He didn't. He didn't. That was
Today
wrong.
he doesn't.
Can I?
4 days ago.
All
I'm gonna
right,
play-
guys,
I'm
I
gonna
am
play
here.
devil's
Let me pause this for a second. I don't know what's going on. I was I was watching this live, and it's all kinds of fucking insanity. I'm not gonna go back and watch it, but basically they're talking about Boogie and how he's supposedly maybe fake cancer or whatever, right? So I'm watching this right now live. So let's just continue watching for now.
He still might have the cancer.
Telling you over and over and over again, it's only
First
in my
off-
medical charts, and I will not share my medical charts. I fucking said
First
this
off-
100 times. It's only in my medical charts, and I will not
Not
send
gonna
my
show my
medical charts.
medical charts.
First off,
Calm
you guys
No,
you
I'm not
gotta
in the
expect
middle of
me.
a goddamn
you gotta
fucking
Like, it'd be so
anxiety
easy.
attack. I'm in the middle of I don't know how to
Stop.
fucking calm down.
Stop. Breathe in. Breathe
Boogie,
out.
Boogie.
Just listen to
Yeah,
Wings. Don't talk. Go on mute.
You most likely
Like he had an opportunity to get like almost $70,000 at a time if he had just shown his goddamn not even the full medical chart, just proof that it was actual polycythemia. I can't even pronounce that word. But yeah, if he actually had that, like he had a chance. But obviously he doesn't have it, so he couldn't prove it.
have the cancer, right? But you haven't done through all the steps, so you can't say you have the cancer or not, right?
Exactly.
And I
that's
find
why
it very
fucking
hard to
sucks.
believe, and I'm not willing to disbelieve
It's
that 3
fine, Boogie.
doctors you
Stop
said
freaking out.
diagnosed you.
No, that's why it fucking
None of them
sucks.
wanted to put it in the chart.
That's why it fucking sucks that I'm getting called by all of my favorite fucking creators a liar when I'm not fucking lying.
You
And it's
lied
not-
1.5 years ago about a diagnosis. that
No, I
now you
didn't,
just
because he
don't even see.
fucking told me. My doctor fucking told me I have cancer. God damn it! It's in my fucking medical charts. My brother's fucking seen it. Where's the fucking lie? My girlfriend sat there while he fucking said it. My brother's seen my medical charts. My friends have taken me to fucking visits where they took my fucking blood.
It's all right. It's all right. It's fine. It's fine. Now we got to why we can't see the records. It's fine. Just calm down. Wings, what he just said is you probably do have cancer. You just needed more tests. It's fine. You jump the gun. I know how this works. I'm a YouTuber too. You know, you jump the gun, you rush.
Fuck you,
make a
Keem.
mistake.
Fuck you. You're a
Everyone
piece
knows
of
the
shit.
Old man that I
Like
accused of
Keem
being a
really
fucking
is
pedo.
like just as much a
fucking
fucking
had to eat
lolcow
crow
as
on that.
Boogie and Wings and everyone else.
You
Like,
jump the gun, you
He
rush,
really
you
is
made
a
the
fucking
video.
idiot.
Like every YouTuber makes mistakes like this. This is crazy how this played out. But I know you. I know as soon as the doctor told you it might be this, you had a panic attack and you rushed the internet to tell them. I know this. Based on everything you told me, I've pieced this together right away. I know you well enough.
He's never said might. He says we are treating you for this cancer.
But it's
we are
not in
taking
your
you for
portal.
the cancer.
He's not putting
I
it on your
understand.
portal.
But
I
why?
understand. It's my understanding. And
Why would they
Ms.
treat you for
that
cancer if they
doctor,
weren't
whoever
100%
was the
sure,
doctor
though?
that
That's
was
like
on
another
earlier
thing
to
I don't get.
confirm.
Like, if they're
The
not
treatments are pretty
100%
much
sure,
the same.
why would they do that?
You do the same thing. You monitor the red blood cell count. You
Honestly,
try to
this is
bring
my
it
first time
down.
actually
Give
watching
the
this show
medications and
because it
treatments
sucks.
that bring it
Like,
down.
Keemstar
Make
went
it high
about
enough
this
that
whole
blood
lolcow
levels-
live thing
they
the
fucking
wrong
literally
way.
Take your blood, or you can
He's
go
treating them
donate
like
it. We've done
coworkers when
all
really
of
it's
these
like they should
things.
be.
We are treating
Well,
me for the
this time it's
cancer.
working,
Whether
but
I
like
have it or not,
you should
I
have the
guess.
lolcows
Maybe
on
when
Not
we
treating
keep
you
the
for
and
the
like
cancer.
being
There you go.
confronted
That's whether you have it or
by.
not. Your doctor thinks
I
this
don't
is a
know.
possibility, so they've been treating it.
Everything
he
that
said
everything
that
that
I
you
do.
showed us, everything that you showed us isn't them treating you for cancer. They're treating you for an overabundance of red blood cells, which they haven't wrote down. They even put the CPAP machine.
and you
They
can
put
Google this.
they put sleep apnea. I understand all this, but what you've
But
told us, the information
that's
you've
how
given
you
me,
treat it. That's how you treat it. That's how you treat it.
information you've given me, they don't know what they're looking for, and they're putting you on general medicines that fix the red blood cell problem.
Yes, because with this cancer, you can't attack it directly. Chemo isn't a thing you do for this thing unless it turns into leukemia. That's my explanation of it.
I'm just
Very
looking at. I'm
rare,
just
but-
bored, so I'm looking at
5% after 10
Muda's
years,
site, and
10%
I'm
after
seeing he
20.
has a
What
PSP
normally
there. So I'm
kills
like,
somebody
big
with
ups
this
on
is
having
something
a
already high risk for,
PSP there. I
which
wonder
is
if he's still
stroke and
actively
heart
plays that or
attack
not.
and
Here's
blood
the next
clots.
step, Boogie.
That's what
Here's the
normally
next
kills
step.
somebody with this disease.
Here's the next step. The next step is you do that bone marrow test study,
Well, no, the
and you
next test
do
is make sure
your
it's not-
prostate study.
Yeah, first we're going to do the ass cancer thing because it's the most obvious one, and we have signs of it. and I will
Right.
tell you guys on the show.
You need to do that, but like,
no,
but like,
no,
I
no.
would
If
tell you
your
guys
doctor,
to
if
go.
your doctor says you have ass cancer, you don't tell us on the show. You don't tell anyone. You keep it to yourself until you get
You're right.
3 different confirmations,
Right.
and then
I probably won't even share it then.
don't share it unless it's on your fucking portal.
I mean,
don't-
even then.
well,
Don't
Even
share
then, I
it.
Because
won't
like,
share it.
because here's
I
the
will-
thing.
he has
Wait,
learned
wait,
nothing
wait,
from this whole
Polly,
thing.
so, okay, we've admitted that PV isn't
Oh
in
my
your
God.
medical charts, right?
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
But you said
I
your brother
guess.
saw saw it on the medical chart. So what the fuck?
It is in the medical charts. It's not on the portal. I don't know why it's not on the portal.
The
There's
portal
several
is
other
the
things that
medical
we've discussed.
charts. Oh my
No, it's
God.
not on the portal.
It's not
I
in the
don't know.
medical charts either.
The
Then
charts are in the
apparently I've never
portal.
seen it.
Boogie.
It's not there. I'd make that call right now. It's
No,
not
my
there.
brother staked his reputation.
What's
on that
most
belief.
likely there? What's most likely there is a packet of papers, and this packet of papers are like where like the registered nurse has pulled possible outcomes
Information
of
about
your
it.
diagnosis.
Yeah, information
Correct.
about it. Yeah, because it was a possibility.
That's what I'm saying. This paper.
Yeah, Wings, you're right. It was a possibility. They give him paperwork. He shows the paperwork to his brother, right, and asks questions about it, but nothing's been confirmed. That's where these problems happened.
But again, here's the confirmation though. For the last 2 years,
Oh,
I've been
trust
spending
me.
a shitload of money to make sure that I don't get a stroke or fucking heart attack from a blood clot, which is how this fucking cancer kills somebody. So yeah, maybe it will turn out that it's polycythemia secondary and not polycythemia
Oh my
vera.
God.
It doesn't matter.
But
The
you were
disease still
telling
fucking
everyone you
kills you.
had
We need to Figure
it.
out why it's happening. And like
Yeah.
the doctor that was on here earlier said, there are other cancers that can cause polycythemia. And that's one of the things we're worried about. So again, my doctor has now shifted. I don't know what markers he's seeing. I don't know. I just know he says it's
They
time to
usually
look for
share
other
this kind of
cancers.
stuff with you,
Let's start
Boogie. What the hell?
with the
Boogie.
butt test. And then I said, what about the bone marrow test? He goes, it's unnecessary.
We
and
know
you're not
you're
gonna like
looping.
it.
You're looping. We're just
Yeah.
saying the same thing over and
Okay,
over again.
l-
How do
let
you?
me let me tell you let me tell you a secret, Blake. It's going to help you out here. See, you don't know how to read your pathology tests. We just had a doctor in here that could read pathology
No,
tests.
my
He would have been
brother.
more than happy.
I know, my
no,
brother.
an actual doctor. Your brother's not a
Yeah, your
medical
brother's
doctor.
not an
He can
MD.
still read it. He's a practicing epidemiologist.
Right, but we had a guy that was
years.
a practicing medical doctor here that could very easily read your pathology test and tell you what's going on with you.
Yes,
And
I
so you
have a
won't be in the
doctor that
dark.
does that already. I have
Use
three.
your resources.
I have
Use
three.
your
I have three
resources.
doctors right now already.
Oh my
Boogie,
God.
because you've already shared this, if you do get confirmation and it is in your portal and you have paperwork, show the internet. Don't play around. You've already shared this. All right. Once you get like real
I will share
confirmation,
it privately with you and only you.
As
Okay,
far as I know,
fine.
it's so bad that he has just blatantly lied about all of this.
I
so
haven't
far.
blatantly lied
There's
about a
no-
single goddamn
Oh
thing.
my
4
God.
days ago, I
From
can
the
see
beginning.
this policy.
4 days ago-
Polycythemia vera in
You
my
did
portal.
lie about
4
that.
days later,
You
you
Yeah,
panicked.
that I did lie
That's a
about.
big lie.
That I did lie about.
Boogie.
Yes, I panicked.
Still
and I
a
lied about
lie.
it there.
God
Yeah,
damn it.
okay.
That's
Thank
one
you
and a
for
half
admitting
years
that.
ago, you had a diagnosis.
Yeah,
Now
I
we're
panicked
just
and I
trying
lied
to
about it there.
identify different versions. So
Yes, because I
lies
knew
upon
that, because I
lies,
know
there's
that
not a
it's
single
because I
ounce
know
of
that it's in
truth.
my medical charts because my brother has seen it. My brother saw
You
it.
just said it's not in
years
your medical
ago.
charts.
No, I said it is. My brother just said it is. Jordy said he doesn't believe it is. I believe it is. Look, listen. Regardless of whatever lie you think I told, and yes, I did lie. I panicked during that last episode. I know.
Well, I
could see
panicked.
it when you were saying it. You're
uh,
like, it
telling
says it right here. I'm like, no, it doesn't,
Jesus
Boogie.
Christ.
Come on.
But
I
I'm
can
telling
imagine.
you,
He's
but
holding
I'm
his phone
telling
like
you
this.
right now, hand to God,
Oh,
on my
may
fucking
God
life.
strike
Oh,
me
so
down
thank
as
God
he
it is.
dies.
Get
Listen,
out of
my
here.
hand to God, save
Yeah,
me
like
from
anybody's
fucking
gonna
life.
believe
Let
that.
me finish
Don't
a
bring up the
fucking
Lord
sentence.
into it,
Let me
dude. Get
finish a
outta here. It's so
sentence.
offensive.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
on Satan's name, then whatever you fucking pray to, I don't fucking know.
No,
I'm saying on my dog's
Fuck off,
fucking life.
Keemstar.
For 2 years, I have believed I have cancer. Sitting right now, I believe I have cancer because I've had a doctor tell me over and over and over again, you have cancer. And he's prescribed medications, and we've done treatments
No,
for
you
that
didn't just have one
cancer.
doctor. Apparently, you have 3
All
doctors.
right, guys.
Yes, I have 3. I have a primary
guys.
physician.
Let's
Oh
wrap
my
it
God.
up. Let's wrap it up. All right, we've solved the mystery. All right, Muta, go ahead with final statements.
I think Boogie's a complete liar, and I don't think he should be on this show. I think if you guys continue to pay him, you're supporting somebody that would blatantly lie about the most
come
vile thing on the show.
Don't
100%.
do
No,
that to
I feel like if you let Boogie on the show, you are supporting somebody that would blatantly lie about one of the most emotionally destructive things in any society. That's where I'm at least. And it's
I
not
think
just
you're-
me
I think-
saying it. It's not just me saying it. I'm sure you can get the same opinion out of Charlie. You get the same opinion out of Coffee.
I can get the same opinion out of anyone, but
Exactly,
mute
100%.
it. This is lolcow live. He's a
I know,
fucking
and you know what? It's better to replace him with like Review Tech USA or somebody else that's more.
Yeah,
I know,
get
but that's what
DSP.
I
Try to
wanna
get
do.
DSP back on there.
Well, I mean, like there are just
That'll
certain
never
limits
happen,
that
but
people
still.
have, all right. And I mean, like I think for the people watching, like I see it in the entire, like I've seen it all day in this fucking chat. People have been pissed. They've super chatted about that. It is a fucking travesty to see the chat react this way.
Can I have
it's just wait. Let me respond. Boogie, you sit there and help yourself and be quiet right now, and let me actually talk about this. If it was fucking black and white, Muta, where like the guy came out and said like I have fucking ass cancer and he just doesn't have it, fine. But his doctor thinks he probably has this, and he jumped the gun and made that YouTube video. That's how this whole fucking thing.
That just shows me he's even worse than I imagined, because he's out there literally waiting to like fucking clickbait the fact that oh shit, I've got cancer written somewhere in the paperwork. Better fucking make a video about it.
But it's not the same as your typical I fucking have cancer scammer who makes a GoFundMe. This is gray. We're dealing with him. It's great.
I just think
a mass manipulator you're dealing with. Hey, New, how you doing?
Friends in this situation.
Sorry, I'm just quick pop-up stream.
Just happen, and that's fine. Trust me, never was looking forward to it anyways. And by the way, it's funny that like you said, you haven't watched my content for years, but you watched the Keffels one, which is literally 2 months old. So another fucking lie I detected right there.
No, what I'm saying is,
anyway, no. The other thing is,
no, let me say, I had to watch that one for the show. Because we talked
to watch that one for the show. Okay, so fucking
several other people. But I skimmed yours.
Why did you say it at the time?
Because
Boogie will make an assumption on me and say that I'm a rage baiter.
Oh, now it's a panic attack. Okay. First it's that, then it's a panic attack. I'm alright. I'm doing
another manipulation tactic because you'll cry on this camera. You'll cry on the camera when Keem and everyone else is talking to you. When I put the heat on, then you flip to this fucking.
I haven't cried. When the fuck have I cried?
What are you talking about?
You were just crying earlier. What are you talking about?
Your emotions, your manipulation, it flips on a dime. Doesn't work on me.
You got dumbass Keem over here huffing air like it's gonna do anything.
Where it is. If they have you on the show, you are 100% one of the worst people to be on the internet. These guys put their reputation on the line.
Yeah,
one of the worst. Lying about that's one of the worst.
Out of your fucking mind, Destiny.
Nude. So it's like, in terms, it's like you have indicators that could indicate you might have cancer, but they have ways of verifying that, and apparently Boogie has not done any of the things to verify exactly what he has, which you would think you would do. If your doctor says, hey, you have like your red blood cell count's kind of high, it's a little iffy. Like, I'm a hypochondriac, so I would freak the fuck out and be like, well, we better make sure what the fuck this is, because I want to make sure 100% know for sure what the hell, why it's like that. You know what I mean? That's just me. But like, you would think any normal person, if it like if there's something to indicate something's wrong, you do all the tests possible to figure out why. It's like that.
One of the worst
to me.
But yeah, they have ways to find out.
Has
defended lying about cancer?
He's defended rapists. And I didn't lie. Here's the fucking thing.
Who defended
rapists?
There we go. It's another cyclical loop.
I still have cancer.
You don't know that.
Another cyclical loop.
I still have cancer.
He's just looping again.
At the end of the day,
what it is.
The lie was it wasn't.
You have him on here again.
But I still have cancer.
You might as well.
Oh my god, this is a circus.
This
is such a shit show.
But I still have cancer. But I still have cancer.
Boogie, please stop.
1 minute. Okay, I had to get rid of them for a second.
Okay.
Wings, go ahead.
I think Mood is being very unfair with this, because there's a good chance that Boogie might have the cancer. He just doesn't have it documented. And Boogie wants to like lie to cover up lies. Like the whole thing, it's not on my portal, it's on my medical chart. That's not gonna.
But your medical charts are in your portal. So if there actually was,
update the portal with your diagnosis, especially when it's usually updated within minutes of something happening.
From what I knew, so from what I'm to gather from this whole shit show, is he's been to doctors, and the doctors for the past 2 years have been treating him having high blood cell count, right? Because I guess maybe apparently, if he does have this cancer, this polycythemia vera. I cannot pronounce it. That's PCV. I'm going to call it that, right? So if he does have that, then I guess the treatment for that is the same as treating the high blood cell count anyway. So his doctors have been treating him for the past 2 years for the high blood cell count with generalized medication type thing, because the type of cancer that he does have, if it actually is cancer, the type of cancer he does have can't be treated with chemo anyway. It can't be treated with chemo. It can't be treated with radiation. It's treated with like just generalized like medication to bring down the red blood cell count to a normal level. That kind of shit, right? So he's been going to a doctor throughout the past 2 years now, treating the high blood cell count. And his doctor probably told him, hey, this is possibly polycythemia vera or whatever, because your high blood cell count is. But it could also be a different sort of cancer that could also increase it. So we need to do more tests. And one of those tests to do that, to verify 100% if he has it or not, was to get a bone marrow test. But Boogie was scared to get the bone marrow test because it's an invasive surgery and it's apparently pretty painful of a surgery to get. So for the past 2 years, he's been putting off getting that surgery to 100% verify that. So for the past 2 years, he's been running with the ideal in his head that he has polycythemia vera because he thinks he has polycythemia vera, even though it has never been 100% verified by his doctor about that. So that is my understanding so far of that.
It's usually automated.
But obviously he's being called out because he can't prove it. Because it's not in his actual chart and portal that proves 100% he has been diagnosed with that. His doctor said it looks like it, or maybe his doctor even says you probably have it, but there's been no official diagnosis.
In January of this year. And I was sitting in the emergency room with her, and as the blood work was coming in, it was hitting her portal, and I could see her blood work right then and there. It's not something that takes days or to update it. The systems are almost automated at this point.
Which is really fucked up because, again, like I think almost everyone nowadays, knows someone who's died of cancer or has suffered from cancer. But at the same time, I could kind of see where Boogie was coming from when, like, if you like have anxiety or you have a hypochondriac a bit or whatever, and your doctor says, yeah, you probably have this, and if you're so used to sharing your entire life online like Boogie was, that he would come out and say, really quick, jump the gun without having an official diagnosis yet and say, hey, I have cancer. Like, that would make sense to me in my head. That's like, yeah, if your doctor says, well, chances are you probably do have polycythemia vera or some form of cancer, then I would probably jump the gun too if I was in his position, because I would freak out and be like, well, chances are I'm probably dying because I probably have some fucking cancer or whatever, right? Like, I can see him doing that.
I just feel like Boogie himself, he spends too much effort in lying, and he's ready to, like, 1 foot in the grave, let's take the plane and nosedive it anytime a problem actually arises. Yep. If he was just honest right at the beginning of it, we could have worked through this. And I think we should still work through this and get his bone marrow test done, even if lolcow has to pay for it. Because it's better to know than to just wonder and just continually to lie over and over again.
Yeah, like, I don't get why you wouldn't want to know 100% if you have it or not. Now, that's my thing. It's like,
what are you thinking?
If I had that, I would 100% want to know.
Thoughts out there.
Wings, there's so much pressure on me to kick him off the show. First of all, I'm like against this cancer culture shit. And like, I don't see it black and white like this is some scammer out there like trying to con people that he has cancer. I see it as fucking stupid, mentally ill fucking Boogie who always loves to be a fucking victim, who can't help himself from telling white lies constantly, right? Who gets told, right, hey, you have the indicators that it could be this cancer, and without any confirmation runs to the internet and tells them. That's how I see it. I don't see it as like
Here,
fucking.
here's some pro Boogie rhetoric right here for you. Boogie didn't start a GoFundMe. Boogie didn't ask anybody to pay for his cancer. He made a video that made like $120 out of 250,000 views. So it wasn't very...
Although he did justify the whole crypto scam thing as using that money, like he claimed the reason he did the whole crypto thing in the first place was to use that money to pay hospital bills, is what he said. So this type of cancer they're talking about is like very weak cancer. Like maybe only 10 to 20% of people with this cancer dies of it. So it's not like super aggressive cancer, apparently. There's a chance you could cure. Like, I don't think there's an actual chance of curing it, but it is treatable though. It's treatable, and as long as you're taking the proper treatment, like chances are, like you have a good chance of surviving this cancer. So Boogie will probably live long enough to more than likely die of complications from like being obese as opposed to the cancer. You know what I mean? So it's not like super aggressive cancer. Because like I said before, it's like my sister has like colon cancer. And she's already in fucking stage 4. So it's some scary shit. That's like real fucking cancer that like she was probably going to die in a couple months if she didn't start treatment like right away. Right? So it's like, and obviously she's getting like chemo and all that shit. So
very monetized, if at all.
Oh yeah, no.
Right?
Boogie
And,
100% fucking made things way worse for himself by not just coming out right off the bat and say, because like, I'm sorry, I keep pausing. Like, I know, like, he kept saying, like, when this whole thing first started, all he had to do was just come out and be like, I thought I have it. They think I still have it. They think there's something weird going on with my body. Chances are it probably is this, but I don't have an official diagnosis to show you. That's all he had to do. You know what I mean?
Or some shit like that.
But yeah, I mean, like, I get it. Like, if a doctor says you probably have cancer, that's some scary shit. So, like, but I would want to get, like, verify 100% what I have or what I don't have.
Had a really bad case of
exactly. It would be on the portal right then and there as soon as they figure out the test results done. I had blood work like 2 days ago, and it popped right up on my fucking portal like the next day.
Fucking hate the show now and not want to support the show. I mean, dude, what Muta's saying is true. Do you know how many people out there have lost family members to cancer? And this thing that Boogie did.
Well, your show sucked anyway, though, Keem.
An idiot, right?
Your show fucking sucks.
That hurts a lot of people.
This is my first time this is my first time I've ever watched a stupid ass show. Because of that, because I wanted to see what Boogie was going to react to. That and when Medicare was on like 4 days ago, also that one too. Because I watch everything Medicare does because it's really fun. He's a cool guy. But anyway, even though he's a Trump cuck, but whatever. Same with fucking Keem, but I just don't like Keem in general because he's just as much a fucking lolcow as these lolcows.
My grandma
right?
died from cancer. My grandfather died from
cancer.
It's
like,
my grandfather's brother died from cancer. My father's most likely going to die from cancer. I'm most likely going to die from cancer.
I have at least 5 family members. So,
but at the same time, it's like Boogie is a professional victim, and this is why he's a lolcow, and this is why it's lolcow live. I don't see Boogie doing all the nefarious things that come with faking cancer. Granted, he's pioneering shit here, but he's not like.
Well, apparently, Squishy, from what he like, this is all to be taken from a grain of salt, right? Because this is coming from Boogie, who obviously like is not a very trustworthy individual. But from what I'm to gather, the treatment for polycythemia vera is the same treatment as treating his red blood cell count. Because like you can't treat this cancer with chemo or anything like that. You have to like treat it the same way the way you treat this cancer, if he does actually have it, is the same way you would treat the higher red blood cell count in the first place anyway, I guess. So it's like the same kind of treatment no matter what.
I've got this. Hey, come donate.
Even if he doesn't actually have that particular cancer, the treatment would still be the same.
Yeah,
it's my understanding.
He's not. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, he's not.
From a medical treatment, so I go on vacation. He hasn't done that.
Yeah, he's not He's not. Yeah. Okay. All right. Wings, we're going to leave it at that. See you, man.
See you, buddy.
Oh, this was a tough one. This is a tough one. But I did promise, if you've seen the chat at the very beginning of the show, I did promise you, without a shadow of a doubt, that we would get the medical records before the end of the show. And we got it. We got confirmation that this cancer of the blood thing is not in his portal. And it's probably not in his medical records. They think that it possibly is cancer. And I do believe he is getting treated for possible cancer, but it's just not confirmed.
Yeah, you would think so. Or you would think you would at least try to verify that.
Like, you know, want to ramp this up. Like, you need to fire him. You're letting him get off and all that. Bro, he got exposed on this show. Every fucking major YouTuber ran with this story. Boogie is now known for lying about cancer because of the show. He didn't get away. There is no getting away. He's fucking down bad. He is down bad, ladies and gentlemen. There is no getting away. But when it comes to firing him, that's where it's like, I don't want to.
Of course you don't want to. It's your show, and you don't have any other lolcows that would be willing to do it. DSP definitely fucking isn't going to do it. Rich Retech probably isn't going to want to do it.
I wish I could see pure evil in this guy, like other people do, because it would be so easy. I'd be like, fuck you, you're gone. But I don't. I see a legitimate fucking head case that has serious fucking problems, that gets in these little panic attacks.
Yeah, he claims he's been to multiple doctors, so you would think one of them would be able to say
or like jump the
what
gun,
exactly he has.
Freak
something
out and
else.
fucking, oh, you think I might have cancer? Let me go make a video and announce to the world that I do have cancer. That is the Boogie I know. That is the Boogie I know. He's a fucking mess.
So
I don't see it as evil. I don't see him as evil. I just don't. Does he do evil things?
Well, I don't really care because the show sucks no matter what. Even if they get rid of Boogie or they don't, I like this. I'll never be watching the show anymore anyway, because I'm not a big fan of the show. Like, I think he's going about the whole lolcow live show the wrong way anyway.
It's not a good day for the show.
You should have the lolcows there and then be confronted by the stupid shit that they said by their fans or detractors or whatever. Or have the detractors go up against the lolcow. Something like that, right? Not... Hold on 1 second. I'm just switching to look for videos, so I'll be right back. I'm still talking, but I think you can hear me. Yeah, you can hear me. Okay, I'm just looking for a certain video, so 1 second. Because that's done now for that video. But yeah, it's like, I don't really care if they get rid of him or not. It's not going to affect me at all. Well, that's a misspelled thing. Oh, pause. All right, we're back. Viewer discretion advised. I don't, like, to be honest, I'm still kind of new to Boogie. I don't really know a whole lot about Boogie. Like, most of what I know about Boogie is from that documentary, the Mike Klum documentary. That's what I mostly know about him, and that's about it. Because I'm kind of new to him. I kind of known about Wings a little bit here and there, but I'm not a big follower as a detractor of either of these people, so I don't know if I'm willing to give Boogie the a shadow of the doubt. What was that right word called? Like, I don't know. Well, what would you consider the consequences of this in the first place? Because, like, he's not getting away scot-free from it either. Right? And most people are still going to be, like, he's still going to be known as by everyone else as, like, the asshole who faked cancer. Right? So, I don't know. not my decision to make. Obviously, it's up to Keem, and I think Keem's kind of a lolcow himself anyway. I think Keem's like almost as much a lolcow as like you're like you never hear the thing where it's like you are the company you keep kind of thing, where it's like you're just as much a lolcow as these other lolcows that you have on, because you are with the company you keep kind of thing. So it's like you can look at your friends and they kind of define kind of who you are. So I don't know. I did want to talk like really quickly because I wasn't planning having this be a long stream. This was just a quick pop-up stream. But I did want to talk about the Trump assassination and share my thoughts on this. So I want to make this clear before I get started. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or not. I don't like the guy. I've said that I've been clear that I really don't care about this guy. And I've made I've shared my share of memes about what happened, but I did want to kind of cover it a little bit. I don't care if, like I said, I don't care, but please try to be civil with one another. If you are in the chat, please no arguing. Well, I mean, you can do a healthy debate if you want or whatever. I don't care about that. Just no screaming at each other, no like heated arguments, please. Please try to respect one another, even if they might have a different opinion on you. I'm just going to go over 2 short videos about, well, first of all, what happened, and then about what they found out about the shooter, right? So.
Make sure we take back the White House.
2 Secret Service sniper teams could be seen on rooftops behind former President Donald Trump less than 2 minutes before gunfire erupted at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday. They appear to be getting into position facing the direction of the gunman who authorities say fired the shots that grazed former President Trump.
Look at what happened. Oh.
Trump said a bullet struck him in the ear. Here's how the attack unfolded. President Trump was speaking from a stage located here. The suspected gunman was on the roof of another building less than 450 feet away from...
All right, so my first question here about this is like, why don't they have better security for these types of things? Like it's not that far away, less than 450 feet. First of all, y'all are lucky that he missed, because like what was his name, Lee Harvey Oswald, supposedly Lee Harvey Oswald was able to make a shot, a kill shot on Kennedy in a moving vehicle much farther away than this with a much older gun. So how the hell with an AR-15 do you miss that, right? And I'm glad he missed, don't get me wrong. I do not condone violence of any sort. I do not wish Trump dead. I do not like Trump. I am not going to vote for Trump. This does not change who I'm going to vote for. I'm not going to all of a sudden vote for him because he was shot at. I'm not. I don't like the guy, but I don't think he should die. He should die of natural causes. Preferably rotting in a jail cell. But you know what I mean? Like, if he was in jail like he should be because he was found guilty by a court, and you could scream fake trial or that it was mishandled or whatever, but that does not change the fact that an actual jury convicted him guilty of crimes. So if they convicted him guilty, he should be in jail right now, and then he wouldn't have been shot at by this crazy person. Correct? But yeah, that's a very short distance. You would think Secret Service would have like locked up that like checked the buildings and stuff around there like that. That's not that fucking far away. Like, why? What were the Secret Service doing? And as you're gonna see later on, it's like the Secret Service does not look all that professional either. You know,
where Trump was speaking with a clear line of sight. 1 minute and 32 seconds before shots are heard.
And like, I guess Trump got really lucky because he turned like right before he got shot at, and because he turned, like the bullet missed him. because like if he had not turned his head, apparently that he probably
we can see
would not
two
be
Secret
around.
Service sniper teams moving into place on the roofs behind the former president. One on the south roof and one on the north roof, facing the direction of the shooter. It's unclear.
So if that's the case, then did they know that gunman was there beforehand then? Because if they knew that gunman, like, because I'm kind of thinking this is all kind of suspicious. This whole assassination attempt seems really sus to me, and I'll continue on with that a little bit later. But like, this already seems really suspicious that they're already like prepping to shoot this guy and know that he's there beforehand, right?
They were repositioning or setting up for the first time.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look
Yeah,
what
you did.
happened
Yeah, the worst president in history took over. Yeah, it was you.
to our country.
Moments before the
Look
shooting,
what
we
happened
can
to
hear
this
nearby
country,
spectators
everyone.
saying they see someone with a gun. While Trump speaks,
I mean, like, he's got a gun. Half the people in attendance probably had a gun. These are all like, this is a pro-gun crowd, right? This is like all Republicans. Pro-gun crowd. Like, I thought, like, most of these guys are either concealed carry or open carry, right? What happened to the whole good guy with a gun argument that you have going on here, right? Because, like, the whole thing is like, oh, if there's a good guy with a gun, he can stop a mass shooter. He can stop an assassination attempt or whatever if they see him enough. But everyone's like, well, I mean, obviously you're ducking. It's natural human instinct to, like, duck and stuff. And, like, when you hear gunshots, that makes sense. But the whole rights argument is like, oh, if there's a mass shooting going on or something, a good guy with a gun can be there and stop him by reacting really quickly with a gun. Like, that's the whole argument. But like half the crowd was probably like open carrying. Well, it was Pennsylvania though, so. But still, like, these are like conservatives. Usually they like are the pro-gun kind of guys, right? I'm not victim blaming either. I'm not, like, that's not the case. I understand. I would duck too.
the Secret Service snipers are still facing the gunman's direction. We then see an agent on the north roof pick
This is very suspicious. The Secret Service snipers are setting up way before anyone knew that guy was there. Why are they setting up and aiming at that thing right before? And like, no one knew he was there up until people started shouting he had a gun, supposedly. So why were they already setting up in that direction?
just before shots ring out at 6:15. Secret Service agents rush to pull Trump to the ground.
Wait, was that Trump's? Was that Trump saying shit? Hold on.
Ring out at 6:15. Secret
Someone
Service
said
agents
shit.
rush to pull Trump to the ground.
And then you got this thing here, right? So, like, suppose he obviously does that whole pose that you're seeing in the picture everywhere, right? But, like, these are the worst Secret Service people ever. Because it's like, there could have been more than one gunman. Yes, the first gunman was neutralized at this point. The first gunman, well, I say first, the only gunman, was neutralized at this point. But are you telling me that Secret Service would risk him getting up or allow him to get up and do a fist bump pose, without knowing if there's a second shooter or not? Maybe the first one was a decoy, and then with all the chaos that ensued, might have had a second one somewhere else or something. You know what I mean? Why would they allow him to get up and do that stupid pose like that if it wasn't planned, if it wasn't staged? You know what I mean? I'm telling you now, history repeats itself, and this is like gonna be the next JFK. Because when the assassination of JFK first happened, everyone believed Lee Harvey Oswald was a killer. And you like, there's a whole like joke meme going around that like all the attempted presidential killers had 3 names, and like, what is the name of the new guy? Well, we're gonna watch in a little bit who the name of the new guy is, but the new shooter is, right? But it's like, seems really suspicious, and I'm thinking like, this might have been some sort of like conspiracy theory going on, or maybe someone set this guy up to be a fall guy. And then I've seen Republicans being like, but they killed the guy is dead, how could it be conspiracy theory? Lee Harvey Oswald was killed too, right then and there. You didn't get a chance to hear why he did it or what his motive was, right? And like, granted, to be fair, we can probably guess what this guy's motive was based on like looking at his social media shit, but still. I wonder if Trump's MAGA hat will be on sale. The one that got like that Secret Service guy was holding there. It's like, get Trump's MAGA hat that he was wearing when he got shot for like $50,000.
As they rush him off the stage, blood can be seen on the bleachers behind where Trump was speaking. A spectator was killed and 2 more were critically injured at the event, the Secret Service said. The suspected gunman, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, was shot and killed, according to the FBI.
See, 3 names, Thomas Matthew Crooks. And it sucks that someone did have to die because of this. I mean, obviously, it would have sucked if Trump died too, right? I mean, yeah, I would feel bad. I mean, because, like I said before, I don't like the guy, but I don't want him to die from something stupid like this, right? So, it would have sucked if Trump got hit. It definitely sucks that an innocent bystander also died from this too, obviously. I mean, like, I don't care if they're a Trump supporter or a Democrat or what. Like, it doesn't matter if they're on a Trump rally or not. You should feel safe enough to attend these rallies and not have to worry about dying like that or getting randomly shot, you know? It fucking sucks. Like, he shouldn't have died. All right, and then we got one more about what we know about the shooter.
Take a look at what happened.
Secret Service agents swarmed former President Donald Trump and rushed him off stage after a gunman.
Wait, why does this sound weird? It's like in one ear and out. Hopefully, it's you guys can hear this.
During his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
We had what we're calling an assassination attempt against our former president, Donald Trump. It's still an active crime scene.
Trump said he was shot by a bullet that pierced the upper part of his.
And that's another thing. It's like, so there's 1 drop of blood on a suit. Like, if an act, like, have you seen how big the AR-15's bullets are? They are big ass bullets. If a bullet actually splattered his entire ear, like even the tip of his ear here, you would think he would have more blood on him than just this. Like, there's no blood on his collar whatsoever. And it just like, and then like, this looks like it's been drawn on. How is it like, it just looks suspicious. Like every part of this just seems more and more suspicious to me. It just does not look like it's been real.
Right ear.
Like maybe it was like a rubber bullet instead of an actual bullet, or maybe like he had a blood pack, because this looks really bright red for actual blood. Especially like blood does not coagulate that fast, right? And usually when you're bleeding, it's not that bright red either.
On his Truth social media platform, he wrote, quote, "I knew immediately that..."
Oh, I forgot about that. He has his own dumbass his dumbass social media website. Forgot he has that. At my True social media account service site, it's so much better than Twitter. I mean X. Because who calls it X anyway? Come on, Elon Musk, you're a loser. Like,
something was wrong, and then I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. A New York Times photographer captured this image of what appears
right, like they have those blood capsules, and like, you know how like, yeah, because like when you like in wrestling, like they would hide a little razor in their hands or whatever, so they'll put their hand up to the ear or their whatever, and they'll be a little they'll be blading razor blade and cut their ear and be like, oh no, I got hit. And I heard this photo itself was photoshopped. I don't think anyone was able to actually capture a real ass. Yeah, because look, like if this was real, you could see the direction of the quote unquote bullet, but that would mean that it wouldn't even hit. Like, look, that does not line up. Even if it's going up, that would not hit. And if you look back a bit, it looks like he was hit in the top of his ear, not the bottom of his ear. the direction of this bullet would maybe barely clip his earlobe, not the top of his ear. That's like a drastic difference from being hit up here to being hit down here. And then I feel like because the bottom of his ear was not bloody at all, it was the top of his ear that was bloody, and yet the streaks were by his mouth here and here. So you're telling me that he got hit in the top of his ear going down? Okay, maybe. But he did not get hit in his earlobe at all. So already, this is not adding up. This is very suspicious.
His Truth social media platform, he wrote, quote, "I knew immediately that something was wrong and then I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin." A New York Times photographer captured this image of what appears to
I think this
show
is photoshopped
a bullet
image.
racing by the former president's head. The FBI identified the gunman as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. They say he fired shots from outside the secure cordoned area of the rally, atop an elevated structure.
He starts shooting. Bow, 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 bow. 4 to 5 shots rang out.
Law enforcement converged.
About 4 or 5 shots rang out down here. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta duck.
Suburban Pittsburgh home overnight.
They asked us to leave our house. They told us it was a state of emergency. No warning. They just knocked on the door in the middle of the night.
Officials say the gunman fired 6 to 8 rounds from an AR-15 assault rifle before he was shot and killed by a member of the Secret Service counter assault team. The FBI.
The Secret Service counter assault team that already knew he was there by pointing snipers at the general location where he was. And like, I don't know.
It, quote, "surprising that he was able to fire at the stage before he was killed."
We do not currently have an identified motive, although our investigators are working tirelessly.
Okay, so I'm gonna say something, and like, I'm kind of surprised this happened this late, because like, Trump is a shit stirrer, right? Like, he talks all this bullshit. He spreads hate speech. He has a lot of hateful rhetoric going on. He's targeted LGBT groups before in the past and continues to do so. He's called like every immigrant like a criminal. There's a ton of reasons to not like Trump. So I don't think we really need a motive per se, because it's like, considering all the shit that Trump speaks on a daily basis, I'm surprised it took as long as it did for someone to actually try to hurt him, right? I'm not condoning it. I'm not condoning it. I don't think this is a good thing. I'm glad he didn't get seriously injured, okay? But I'm saying I can understand why someone might do something like this. I don't think we need an actual motive with the amount of shit that he spreads on a daily basis, okay? So I'm saying that, yeah.
To attempt to identify what that motive was.
Last night's rally in
And the
Pennsylvania.
guy, the shooter, like looks like he's like has autism or something. And again, I'm not shitting on people with autism because I have autism, but I'm just saying he looks kind of autistic. And
Former President Trump's last before the Republican National Convention gets underway here in Milwaukee. Right now, plans are underway to expand the security perimeter around this venue.
Well, you should have had that set up
with Trump Saturday evening. He condemned the attack.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick.
Trump was treated at a local hospital. He returned to his golf club in New Jersey early this morning.
yeah, because he wasn't seriously hurt. Like, I'm not surprised that he returned to golfing, because God forbid, even though he's a terrible golfer.
Well, Donald Trump has survived an assassination attempt.
I want to see like someone showed the actual like.
Before we start this full hour
Oh, okay,
with
this does
reports and
show
analysis, let's first show you that moment Donald Trump was shot.
Take a look at what happened.
Well, you can see him.
Take a look at what happened.
Hold on, let me see if I can slow that down. Let's slow that bitch down. That's only 720p.
Let's first show you that moment Donald Trump was shot.
Take a look at what happened.
He could have been. Wait, was that something? Can I slow that down even more? Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm being super detective over here. Look at his hand when he brings his hand down. I want to see this. Can I see? The quality is so terrible here. It might just be the light. The quality sucks so much, so it might just be the light. But it almost looks like there's like something here. Like it almost looks like there's something here, but it just might be the light, so. And then this weirdo over here, and I've seen conspiracy theories with this guy that maybe he was like giving the signal to the shooter that now was a good time or something. I've heard rumors about that too, or speculation, I guess.
The FBI says the gunman, who was on a nearby roof, killed a spectator and wounded 2 others before being shot dead by snipers. Well, as you can see, security agents rushed to protect the former president. They later hurried him off stage with blood on his face. In a social media post, Mr. Trump said a bullet had pierced his ear. He's now in New Jersey, where he plans to spend the night at his private golf club. This image, obtained by the entertainment news outlet TMZ, shows the exact moment the shooter, who is lying on his stomach, lines up his shot from the roof. Clearly questions about how he was able to do that without being stopped. The gunman was shot
Good question, especially when the Secret Service had a sniper trained at him way before this point. So that, again, is kind of suspicious in my eyes. Oh, they blurred it.
What you're hearing is some of the reaction from
the
clearly very distressed crowd after he was killed and the panic which ensued. Well, speaking at the news conference, the FBI Special Agent Kevin Rojek gave this update.
This evening we had what we're calling an assassination attempt against our former president.
Yeah, and I already heard this.
It's still an active crime scene. As I mentioned, we have a number of agents on scene.
George Bivens gave this update.
So let me describe for you a little bit about the scene.
Yeah, like it would be pretty hard to hide an AR-15 if you're just lugging that around, even climbing up the steps of this building. Like, was no one in that building at all? Was it a vacant building or something?
We have over there, as you know, there was a grandstand, a very large area, a lot of people there when this all unfolded. The former president had come out and begun to speak shortly after 6 o'clock this evening. And within about 10 to 15 minutes, a number of sounds were heard, and it became apparent that shots were being fired in that direction.
No shit.
Chaotic scene. Law enforcement, I believe, acted heroically.
Oops, wrong one. Let me just see if I can find a different clip that, or not. Nope, stop. That's the wrong one. Hold on 1 second. I think that was basically it, though. Yeah, that's basically it. All right. Yeah, so like my thoughts kind of like I said already, this seems very suspicious. Oh, wait, here we go. Something by a security expert here.
Really interesting to wonder where this is going to go. Well, Will Geddes is now ready. He's an international security expert. You may have just heard me, Will, morning to you, discussing how on earth someone in such an obvious rooftop position with a clear line of sight to the former president, how on earth they weren't picked up on by the security services, how they were able to get on the roof and mount a rifle in such vision and in such clear view of everyone and
very suspicious.
Get to the stage where they can actually fire shots.
It's astounding, Christo. I'll be honest with you. There is something a little bit fishy
what kind
about
of quality
the situation
is this?
because ultimately,
Bro, get a better
when
webcam.
you're running the protection of a principal, one of the biggest concerns.
We got a security expert here, and he's running the first webcam ever created. He's using his fucking laptop webcam or something. Bro,
you will always have is if you're taking them into open spaces, it could be out either singing, promoting, talking, canvassing, whatever it might be, that wherever you have that event, you want to lock it down, secure it as much as possible. And the Secret Service that will be attached to President Trump should have got all of the highest positions, the overviews that there would be of the event space covered. And that's not only the spaces that they themselves can then observe everybody who may be on the ground, anybody who might be in the vicinity, anybody who might be approaching.
Oh, it's connection issues.
But also on other rooftops, in apartment windows, in office windows. So there's something a little bit suspicious about this, to put it mildly.
When you say suspicious, what do you quite mean by that?
Means that it's fucking suspicious. And why the hell weren't they covering that obviously open area where someone could easily get that close and that clean of a shot? And then still miss was the second thing, too, because it's how do you miss a shot like that, right? And again, I'm just asking a question. Not because I wanted it to hit him. I don't want it to hit him. I don't want it to hit anyone. I don't want this to happen. I don't condone violence like this. But if we're going with it being a conspiracy attempt, a conspiracy, I mean, right? Because, this is obviously going to make him solidify him as quote unquote a hero in the Republicans' eyes, right? Oh, he's a hero. He took a bullet for this country. Well, he didn't really, because he wasn't meaning to. It's not like he stood in front of a bullet or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not like he signed up for that, because no one signed up for that. So no, I wouldn't label him a hero for doing this. And it was probably the hateful rhetoric that he continues to spew on a day-to-day basis that caused this attempt in the first place. So I'm not going to call him a hero, but obviously the right are going to label him a hero. And this would probably convince a lot of undecided people that they might want to vote for Trump over anyone else because of that for some reason. I'm not sure why, because people who already do not like the guy, obviously I don't think they are going to change their minds and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna vote for him now, even though I still don't like him and I don't like what he stands for. But yeah, because he got shot at, I'm gonna vote for him. No one's gonna do that. But the undecided people might. I don't know. But it's really suspicious how a guy is able to, first of all, make it on there mostly unnoticed, supposedly unnoticed, and be able to get a clean line of sight to the president and able to take a shot and still somehow miss. When any normal assassin, I'm not claiming he's an official assassin or whatever, but I'm saying that's if it was a normal, most people would be able to make that shot. It's a really short distance away from Trump. It was a clean line of sight. You would think if it was an actual non-conspiracy, they would have hit him, given how ideal the conditions were, right? So it's suspicious that he missed, and it calls into question that this might be a conspiracy theory, because first of all, they weren't even covering that area to begin with. Second of all, you had Secret Service snipers aiming in that general direction in the first place. And like this guy said, they should have scouted out that area way in advance ahead of time anyway. Sorry. Oh, so he was. Well, yeah, he was noticed. I think he went noticed a couple seconds before he started squeezing off shots, though. I'm not quite sure.
Well, it really falls into one of two areas,
though.
Chris. There is either incompetence in terms of the security planning,
Which might be that too. That's a possibility too. It might just be total fucking incompetence because, like, first of all, they probably should have had a larger detail for the Secret Service to begin with, and second of all, it's like when with the JFK assassination attempt, like they were basically saying like there was just way too many windows for all the Secret Service people there to cover every single window, kind of thing. Which that one makes more sense than just an obvious fucking location. You know what I mean?
Collaboration or
Detractor made it. It's either obvious or it's what was I gonna say? It was kind of dumb for Secret Service, in my opinion, to allow him to even get back up to do that in the first place. Because yes, the first shooter was neutralized at that point, but for all they knew, there could have been a second shooter. So they willingly allowed him to get back up to shoot him. That a second person might be able to shoot him because they didn't know if there's a second sniper at that point or not. You know, it just seems kind of suspicious that they would allow him to fist pump in defiance like that in the first place. You know what I mean? Because that like leaves him totally unprotected. So I'm like, In the minutes before press conference from the local law enforcement. Oh, they did have multiple calls? So yeah, maybe someone did see him actually going up to the rooftop from there. Maybe inside the building or something that someone saw that.
Collusion in terms of enabling there to be a vacuum, a void within the security that could be potentially filled. I hope it's not. I mean, I hope it's neither, to be absolutely honest with you. But at the moment, it's very difficult to draw any speculation as it to being, you know, either one or the other.
Is there any defence, perhaps, that the Secret Service can plead on this because apparently it was outside of the perimeter of their remit, if you like, that this
it was such a
shooter
small
was
perimeter
on a roof
they had
quite
set
far
up, though.
away, apparently from
It wasn't that far away. It was less than 400 yards, I think they
from
said.
this rally. So is that anything that they can say that perhaps they couldn't have foreseen?
Oh yeah, I did see that, but like as soon as they had noticed that, like he started shooting like almost right away. Because they're like, he's got a gun, and they started like shooting and or moving away and calling out that he had a gun.
Really, I think again, I'm finding this really difficult for it to be a defensible position by the Secret Service, unless
this all just seems like weird, like in my opinion. And like I could be 100% wrong, and I'm like, that's fine. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll admit that I'm wrong. Like, but I don't think we'll ever fully know. Same with Kennedy. It's like, or JFK. It's like, well, it's a general consensus now, so many years after the fact, that yeah, there was a conspiracy theory with Kennedy, and the CIA probably killed JFK. Like, that's, I think the majority of people probably think there's some sort of conspiracy going on with JFK. But obviously that's going to take time. And like I said, history tends to seem to repeat itself over and over again. There's always like history is repeating itself. And like, you know what, like, it's just obviously like this seems to be a repeat of history.
There was such a lapse, or there
and
was...
almost as soon as this happened, you had people spreading a possibility of it being a conspiracy or cover, especially with this weirdo guy here, who I think right before he got shot, he was like almost looked like he was signaling the gunman or something like that.
Some breakdown or failure, obviously, by someone within the Secret Service. Now, Krista, don't get me wrong. I know and have some friends who are in the Secret Service, and they are incredibly competent, and they're very well rehearsed and very well experienced, having had numerous attempts, assassination attempts of various different types against former presidents. So I know that they have their game plan very well set out.
That's what I'm saying, Newt. Like, it was less than 400 feet away. Why was that building not secured? And then I see a lot of people on Twitter on the right, like, just basically shitting on her for being a woman in Secret Service, which is really sexist, by the way.
Concern is, and I don't subscribe to conspiracy theories, Christo. You and I have known each other a number of years, and when have you ever heard me endorse a conspiracy theory? But this is just very, very odd that this open position...
And, like, it's clearly he got shot at the top of the ear, but you saw that one photo of the bullet captured... The photo of the bullet in the ear about to hit him captured on photography, and it would look like it was going to barely hit the bottom of his ear. So if the bullet was like, because I showed, just rewind the stream, you'll see it. But like, if the bullet was about to hit him in the lower lobe of the ear, how all of a sudden was it hitting the top of his ear instead?
And with rifles, whether it be something which is built to shoot from with a parabellum from a great distance, there are some serious questions to be asked. That you try and put your principal into a pocket of security that they can.
This guy's connection sucks.
One of the biggest challenges, as we've seen in the world, where someone is right next to the stage of where they're talking.
I think.
Sorry, Chris.
It was a follow-up shot after he'd already gotten hit then? Because it looked like Trump was still like talking or mid-speak, and it didn't look like he was like ducking yet.
I think we were losing you for just a moment. Listen, well, really interesting to get your update on this. I think we're losing the connection a little bit there, so we'll leave it. But thank you so much for telling us what you think of that. And, again, I don't go for conspiracy theories much. I do a little bit, but not loads. But I can see where Will is coming from on that, because it is quite staggering.
Who is this guy doing the camera work? He's not very professional.
It's quite staggering, just the open space that this shooter was from. And again, members of the crowd, there's interviews with people from the crowd often saying, we were pointing, we were saying, look, there's this guy over there about to shoot at former President Trump. So it's quite staggering that this person was missed. So, gross incompetence or something more sinister, well, those are going to be the kinds of questions that will be asked. And
it could very easily just be incompetence on the part of Secret Service here. Maybe he wasn't assigned the most competent type of let me see if I can see if there's any assassination. Where do I find the... Actually, let me just go back and see if it was in the original one.
See something that said, take a look at what happened.
No, this is too zoomed in. I wanted the picture of that one weirdo guy back there. That guy. Doesn't even duck or anything. It's just kind of like, this guy's suspicious in my opinion. Oh. Bad quality on the thing. This guy over here is like, cut the cameras! Don't film! Then a bunch of people trying to fuck you! Where were you before? Alright, let me see if, like, I'm trying to find that one where it's, like, showing the actual, this. Alright, let me just watch this
And
one.
that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
I guess he wasn't. Doesn't duck, doesn't anything, just kind of... Alright, well, that's it. Yeah, I basically just gave my kind of, like, quick... not ideal, my quick thoughts on the subject. Obviously, I don't condone what happened. I don't like the guy, but I don't think he should be shot at. Obviously, it's kind of fucked up. If it is real and legitimate and not a conspiracy theory, it's fucked up. If it is a conspiracy, it's even more fucked up that someone would go through all this trouble of killing an innocent bystander and the fall guy just to bolster poll numbers is really fucked up, especially when he was already leading the polls in the first place. Yeah, like, this guy's, like, totally... like, it's that one... Who was the one with that one lady? Hold on. He reminds me of that one lady in the JFK assassination. There's like that one umbrella guy, whatever. They had like an umbrella and he didn't duck or anything.
This version tracks the limousine and maintains frame.
Oh my god, that's not what I want. Where's the Zipfruder film? I can't ever pronounce it. So here's they're coming down around the bend. And there we go. And then she obviously does that iconic picture there. And it was really suspicious with the driver too, because like he kind of slowed down to like a 10-mile-per-hour like crawl of the thing. I'm like, that's kind of suspicious. Oh yeah, that'll be better if we just make the stupid noise behind it. But I don't know if I can if any of these where that guy was, but there's like an umbrella guy who was really suspicious after the shooting. But I think it was I don't know if it shows it or not. There's one of the people like over here that was really suspicious too, and they didn't duck or scream or react in any sort of way whatsoever. No, I'm allowing politics this time. As long as you guys don't freak out and yell at each other or whatever. I mean, that's fine that you're conservative. I don't care if you're conservative or Democrat or whatever, you know? No, I know. I'm just saying it looks a little weird, that's all. I'm not stating I 100% believe it was a conspiracy because this, and this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it looks a little off. But again, I've never been... I mean, I've fired guns before, but not like assault rifles or any of that shit, and I've never been shot at before or anything, thankfully, so I can't really say one way or the other about that. I'm just saying it was a little odd. And like I said, and giving my thoughts on the whole issue in general, that it seems that like history is repeating itself in a way almost. And it's kind of not funny, but it's kind of weird that like the Simpsons, you know how like everyone claims that, oh, the Simpsons are predicting this, the Simpsons are predicting that, and they predicted Trump dying, obviously, and obviously it turns out not to be the case because of this anyway, obviously. Thankfully, he didn't get hit. Thankfully, he wasn't killed because of this stupid asshole guy, right? But my conspiracy theory brain tends to go to like, not conspiracy theory, but like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like, what if there are multiple timelines, right? Multiple world timelines and divergences onto different world timelines, right? And this was one of those moments in history where Trump should have died or shouldn't have died. And like time splits off into two different timelines, one where he continues to live and one where he was supposed to, or one where he does die. And we hopped onto a different timeline to where he wasn't killed, thankfully. And now we're going on this alternate timeline that we weren't supposed to go on. That would also explain the Manala effect, that there's multiple different timelines and multiple different outcomes to historical events and stuff like that. Occam's razor. It wasn't Occam's, it's Occam's, but yeah. Where it's the simplest option is whatever is probably the most logical option, which is probably just some pissed off, dumb 20-year-old who, and by the way, I don't know if you had mentioned this or not, the shooter was Republican. So it's like he was a registered Republican. And I know some of people on the right might try to spin that into, oh, oh, see what happens when the left doesn't like a person, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's not the case. He was a Republican, though. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm technically a Democrat, but I hate how the Democrats are so pussy about everything and they just let themselves get stepped on by fucking everyone and don't stand up for themselves. Not in terms of taking up arms, but in terms of fighting back against certain bills that Republicans are trying to push by, i.e., like fucking the Roe versus Wade overturn thing was one of them that I don't agree with, and maybe Biden should have fucking done something instead of just sitting by and letting it happen. So, like, I get pissed off that the Democrats are too soft in certain cases in terms of allowing the Republicans to step all over them, right? So, but I don't think any actual, like, extreme radical leftist is that extreme enough to go and shoot at freaking Trump, though. So I'm like, he was Republican. What are we seeing here? As a former Marine, this was insanely Exactly. I said that before. Like, how was such an obvious possible location not secured in the first place? Like, from such an obvious elevated position, less than 400 feet away, you're telling me it wasn't secured? It just seems like a very it's either incompetence or it's a conspiracy theory, and if you ask me, and it's probably incompetence. The fact that they didn't have enough security, Secret Service people there either. Yes, the Zapruder film was supposedly the only footage of the JFK assassination. There was apparently rumor that there was a second film that was given to the committee that was doing the investigation into the assassination of JFK. There was supposedly a second film that was shot from the other side of the street that showed the grassy knoll that was submitted for the investigation into the assassination of JFK, and it was never given back. It was like mysteriously vanished, right? But supposedly there was a second film in addition to the Zapruder film, but no one got to see it except for the investigators of the assassination, apparently. Multiple targets? Because that's what I'm saying. It's like they didn't know that there was a second shooter or not. So it's like, why would they allow Trump to stand up and do that fist bump and open himself up to possibly being hit again by a secondary shooter? They didn't know how many shooters were out at the time. Like, they just instantly assumed it was just one shooter. So they allowed Trump to do a defiant fist bump in the air and open himself up to a possible second attack. That just seems kind of fishy to me, that they would allow him to do such a stupid, risky maneuver like that when they don't know if there's a secondary gunman or not, you know? Yeah, because, like, apparently they, like, had a very small area that was secure around the actual thing, but not, like, less than 300 feet away from the only elevated location like that. And I don't know anything about the whole January 6th thing. I'm thinking that might be kind of sus or not. I mean, I'm saying what I think you're saying is kind of suspicious and not accurate, but we're not talking about that right now. Yeah, they were, but, like, are you telling me, like, an 80-something-year-old guy is going to use, like enough strength to push some of the, like, these secure... I can't talk. Are you telling me a frail 80-year-old Trump is going to be able to push enough of the Secret Service people off of him in order to do that? I don't think he's that strong that he could push multiple Secret Service agents off of him in order to do that. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously they were standing in front of him and trying to, like, block any shots, but It just seems very kind of suspicious in my opinion, that's all. But I mean, we'll never really know, obviously, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because thankfully he wasn't killed from that in the first place. Because, like, I don't like the guy, but I don't think he should be freaking shot at. 3 hours ago? What is this?
Attempted to assassinate the former president, 20-year-old Thomas Crooks of Bethel Park. The FBI has told us that Crooks's father.
Yeah, because, like, I don't want to sound too, because, again, like, I'm painting myself as this nut conspiracy thing, but at the same time, it doesn't matter if you vote Democrat or Republican. Our government is trying to divide us by sparking the division between Democrats and Republicans. So you have us fighting against one another when really, like, our votes doesn't really matter that much. It's like the president doesn't have that much power when it comes down to it. He's more like a figurehead than anything else. Sure, he can do some executive, what is it called? The like, executive orders here and there, but that's kind of about it. Like, it's not like the government, what the fuck? It's not like the president is in control of the entire government, and like it's more matters about who has like the majority in the House and the Senate. You know what I mean? That's what more matters more than the actual president. But they're trying to create such division and like civil war against the Dems. I'm gonna kill all the Democrats. I'm gonna kill all the Republicans. When it's just division. Like they are distracting us with stupid shit like this, so that we don't notice what's actually going on and the actual corruption going on in the actual government. You know what I mean? That the local law enforcement was in charge of the calls? Well, they didn't act fast enough, clearly. JDX, like, you might be right. I don't know. Like, I am more worried not so much about Trump, but about the GOP and what the GOP's plan for America is with their 2025 plan. Because, to be fair, I haven't actually read it, but I've heard a lot of shit about it. So I really need to sit down and actually read the actual 2025 plan that the GOP has, because I'm more worried about that and the actual GOP behind that trying to push all these like fucked up kind of supposedly fucked up rules and laws that prevent like a lot of like basic civil liberties that LGBT people have and shit like that. Because like I wouldn't have a problem with Republicans if it wasn't for the party constantly trying to limit basic rights that like LGBT people have, that and while they haven't done anything wrong to anyone at all, right? It's like they're just trying to be themselves and they can't even be that because they're always trying to limit shit like that. That's my main issue, that because it involves me. I mean, like you know what I mean? Because like otherwise I'd be like, whatever, I don't care, vote for whoever you want. Because like, I mean, obviously it's going, like, no matter who's president, it's going to affect us in the long run. But I'm saying like personally, like that's my main concern, if that makes sense. Have you heard of whose policies? Trump's or? Well, that's the problem also, is this whole partisan bullshit. Like, we need to get rid of just this two-party system too. Like, and the fact that like anyone should be allowed to be president. It shouldn't be about how much money you have, and if you have enough money, then you can be president. Like, that's kind of fucked up too. And it's like anyone should have the ability to run for president, and it shouldn't cost them out of their pocket money to do that in the first place. Not to mention the fact that I kind of feel we should have some younger men as president. We have to have better candidates than these two assholes, in my opinion, because I think they're both assholes. And I'm, in terms of the whole, like, not to get super political about that, because I know that's a hot button topic too, but I don't think our government should be financially supporting an actual fucking genocide going on. I don't think our government should be even interfering in that in the first place. Oh, no, you're fine. No, I know. I'm just saying that's what I'm worrying about as a voter. Because that's what affects me more directly than anything else, JDX. Right? But let's see what this says.
Bought the rifle that was used, but there is no indication that he knew anything about his son's plans.
Thomas Crooks graduated from Bethel Park High
See,
School.
every time there's a mass shooter, it's always some dumbass kid stealing the father's or the parents' rifles and guns because they fail to lock up the weapons properly. You people, if you have guns in the house, you need a gun safe. Why do they should be required that you have a gun safe?
2 years ago, he's described as a smart kid, good student, someone who was mostly quiet and kept to himself.
Everyone kind of knew him as the kid that knew everything. So everything we would always joke, say, I bet Thomas knows the answer to this question. If we don't, Thomas knows it.
Tonight, federal agents are still trying to connect some dots, looking into Crooks' mental health history and what his emotional state may have been leading up to Saturday. Today, the FBI was in the neighborhood in Bethel Park where Crooks lived.
And I'm against shit like this, like news reporting like this, because you're giving this guy attention when the attention should not be on this guy in the first place. It should be on the innocent people that were wounded and killed because of this asshole. You know what I mean? Same with any mass shooting incident that happens. Do not focus on the shooter. Focus on the people that unfortunately were injured by this, you know? Yeah, and I get that, a lot of Republicans are, religious, but this is not a religious country. Christianity is not the religion of America. It isn't. You have the freedom to worship any religion you want, and that's not just applicable to Christianity. And you don't have to have any religion. So we shouldn't be forcing archaic old religious doctrine into actual laws, because there's a separation of church and state for a reason. And that's just my opinion.
Going door to door.
And that's where we find our Megan Schiller this afternoon. Megan.
And that's fine. I'm not attacking you or anyone. They actually added that. If you actually look back far enough, there's Looney Tunes. I know it's fucking not a good source, but Looney Tunes from the 1940s, there was a still that showed the Pledge of Allegiance, and it didn't actually say "under God" in it. They added "under God" and "in God we trust" to the coins after a certain date, to the pledge and to the coins and stuff. That was all added after the 40s, I think. It was either in the 50s or 60s they added that shit.
Erica and Ken, reporters from all over the area and really across the globe.
I was raised Catholic, but I'm not Christian anymore because of a lot of the harmful religious rhetoric that is going on. God, I was raised to believe that God loves everyone, no matter what, and that you shouldn't be judging other people because that's God's job. God is going to judge everyone when we die. It's not up to us to judge everyone else.
Have been descending here into Bethel Park, just trying to learn more about Thomas Crooks and his family members and his friends, those who were close.
But it seems that a lot of religions and churches seem to have pull or financial or not financial. What's the right word? They seem to have political ties or sway in certain politics anyway, even though the churches should be staying out of politics. So maybe we should be taxing churches since they should be out of politics, but they still have a sway over certain political leaders this way or that way. Maybe we should be taxing churches then because they have such sway in politicians.
To him. Right behind me is his home, and in the driveway is the blue pickup truck that neighbors say they remember seeing him drive through the neighborhood. Most importantly,
why are they
the neighbors we talked with said they just remember him
the shooter
the
so much
alone.
attention.
We did just get
I know
information
he's dead,
confirmed that the preliminary examination of Crooks' cell phone has not yet produced anything helpful in determining a motive. All eyes are locked on Bethel Park as investigators search for clues and a motive for Saturday.
Again, I want to say one more thing too. It's like I don't like Trump, but I don't think he doesn't deserve this. Obviously, I don't condone violence. I want to be on record saying that and everything. But as a critic of his, I can see how someone who is mentally ill can take all of the hate speech that he spreads, his hateful rhetoric, the violence that he tends to incite in mentally unstable people. I can see why some people might want mentally challenged people, or not mentally challenged, mentally unwell people might take matters into their own hands. I don't think you need an exact motive as to why. Like, it's not like some altruistic presidential candidate who's done nothing wrong and we can't possibly fathom a reason as to why he was shot at. Obviously, he doesn't deserve to be shot at, but he's a very brazen, outspoken person that has riled up a whole nation more than once, many different times. I can probably see why this person might have done the way he did. And even though he was registered Republican, there are plenty of Republicans who do not like him. So maybe they wanted a different Republican candidate. So like there is a decent motive this guy might have had. I'm not saying it's justified, obviously.
Saturday's assassination attempt. Liam Campbell recognized his neighbor and former classmate immediately.
Yeah, immediately. I've like all the yearbook photos and everything. I knew who he was.
We asked him his reaction to the news that investigators found rudimentary bomb-making materials just a few feet away at Thomas Crook's family home.
I was shocked because knowing that he lived so close to me, that he did something like that, it's shocking.
And as federal investigators search for him,
well, maybe he changed his affiliation, but he never officially changed it on the registration then. But I'm just saying, it's like, this isn't exemplary of Republicans or Democrats. This wasn't like a die-hard leftist either, though.
A motive behind the shooting.
But yeah, we're never going to know his true intentions, but something radicalized him to this point or extent, and we're never going to be sure where. But that doesn't mean, oh, Antifa is responsible and they planted this guy. No, that's not the case either, though.
Father, Crooks's former classmates try to process.
I don't know what happened after graduation, but in high school, he was never the type that I would have to worry about.
And we did just learn breaking news into our newsroom that is now reportable that the shooter's father, who lives directly behind me, did call local police here in Bethel Park after the shooting took place. This is according to multiple law enforcement officials.
You should have had a gun safe.
Not yet have the exact
Why didn't you have your gun locked up?
The nature of that call or the exact timing, but of course we are working to learn more. We're live in Bethel Park right now. Megan Schiller, KDK News.
But yeah, that's just it. We're never going to know his true intentions, obviously.
The assassination attempt on the former president is on everyone's mind here in Milwaukee. And tonight, CBS News has learned new details about the shooter. He went to a gun range near Pittsburgh in the days before.
But that's kind of like, I mean, I get what you're saying, JDX. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, you can't expect someone, like, let's say Trump was totally new into this when he first became president, which he was. When he first became president, he was not a politician. But, like, I fail to see that he was not full, like, how do I phrase this? It's like, power corrupts, right? Obviously. And, like, if I'm to take things that I see at face value, and also based on certain trials that happened, he didn't want to give up the position of presidency to Biden, and that led to the escalation of the January 6th incidents, which may or may not have been fabricated. I don't know. It looked real enough to me. It didn't look like it was, like, you are given the same excuses for why January 6th happened that people give to you about why riots break out from peaceful demonstrations into full-blown riots. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, there's a few people that were planted out of the protesters, and they incited them to get violent and actually storm into the Capitol. People say that the same thing about Antifa riots that started as peaceful demonstrations, and they say the same thing, where there are undercover cops that incite the violence, and that mob mentality takes over, and then you got all this chaos going on, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the same excuses from both different sides. So it's hard to believe what did and didn't actually happen. And if you're just going based on the news, you're kind of fucked no matter which news you watch, because it's all just meant to manipulate us one way or the other, because everyone has their own biases. All these news channels have their own biases. You know what I mean? I don't know much about the actual trial because I wasn't caring enough to actually watch it. But, like, I don't know. Was it legit? I don't fucking know.
For the shooting.
I thought he was found guilty not because of that, but because he paid hush money to the prostitute or something like that.
And just hours ahead of the rally, he bought a box of ammunition for his father's AR-style rifle. Still, there's no word on motive, even though investigators have cracked the gunman's cell phone. CBS's Scott McFarlane reports questions are mounting tonight about the security breakdown.
Happened.
CBS News has learned the Secret Service did not sweep the building the shooter used to fire on the. CBS News has learned the Secret Service did not sweep the building the shooter used to fire on the former president. Even though it had a direct line of sight to the stage, it was outside the security perimeter. But a local sniper team was inside the building at the time of the shooting.
There he is.
New video shows people in the crowd were pointing to the man on the roof at least 2 minutes before the first shot was fired.
So there was a sniper team inside the building, what, coming up to where he was at the time?
13 seconds before the shooter opens fire, people run away from the building. Former President Trump was on the stage a little more than 400 feet away, where two sets of sniper teams behind him point their rifles in the direction of the shooter, appearing to spot something before the first shot rings out. The sniper teams open
So
fire.
in those 2 minutes, they couldn't tell Trump to, like, get down or anything like that?
Killing the would-be assassin.
I think entities, state and local, they are largely maybe operating on a different radio channel than the Secret Service.
Yeah, I did hear that, like, the Supreme Court, like, did something, or they either, like, relieved him of charges, or they allowed him to, like, still run for presidency despite the charges or something like that. Supposedly, I don't know. But again, the Secret Service was packed from Trump in the first place because Trump stole one of Obama's seats that he was supposed to give. So,
The Secret Service was relying on local police to fill out part of its specialized protective units.
When I looked up, I saw blood on the podium, and I knew immediately it was.
John Abel was in the stands behind former President Trump when the shooting began.
At any point in the time since then, you asked yourself,
the whole day that happened.
How could this possibly happen? How could this be such a failure?
Well, yeah, that was the only thing that's going through my mind for the last 48 hours. It just didn't make any sense to me. And it still doesn't make sense to me how they allowed this to happen at all.
One person in the crowd was killed, and two others critically injured.
Do you feel like somebody let you down?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And, like, I don't know enough about the Biden crime family versus the Trump crime family or any of this shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you're saying one thing, everyone else is saying another thing. Like, I don't like either one of them. I don't know what news site I can trust versus what news site I can't trust. I don't try not to watch the news because it's always biased one way or the other. They're always manipulating us. One way or the other, they're manipulating us. So you shouldn't trust any news source. And, like, try to do, like, if you really want to find something out, do your own research. And, like, not just listen to the news and take whatever Fox News says verbatim or CNN takes verbatim or whatever. You know what I mean? Try to actually do your own, like, looking into it. And try to find unbiased sources that don't lean left or right to try to, like, ascertain the truth in between. Because the truth is always, like, buried in the middle somewhere. You know what I mean? The nugget of truth, as you say, yeah. There's always a nugget of truth.
One of the two
Don't you know?
wounded rally attendees, 74-year-old James Copenhagen, is recovering from wounds to the stomach and to the leg. As for this rally site, it remains an active crime scene. The FBI is still combing through, and just moments ago, they finally lowered that enormous U.S. flag over the stage.
That was it? Oh, you didn't show anything. Oh yeah, who is J? Like, I guess this is his vice president pick.
Vance has
I
had
don't
a
know who the hell this
meteoric
guy is.
rise in the Republican Party. From a best-selling author
guess this
and
is-
never Trumper in 2016
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
to winning a U.S. Senate seat at age 38, and now he's former President Donald Trump's running mate.
Elect Donald Trump in 2024. God bless you, sir.
Vance is very much a creature of the new Republican Party that Trump has shaped in his image. By picking Vance, Trump is showing he's doubling down on this MAGA agenda. It's a full-throated, populist, national conservative
Oh, full-throated?
Here's
What?
why the
Hello.
Trump Vance
What?
ticket is a big deal for the future of the MAGA movement and the GOP.
Why do I always say he's a lot better than fucking Pence? I hated Pence. He was such a dick.
J.D. Vance first catapulted to fame in 2016
Giving a
after
TED
he published his
talk.
memoir, Hillbilly Elegy. The book detailed his experience growing up poor in Rust Belt, Ohio, and making it to Yale Law School. It was a smash hit and became a Ron Howard-directed movie in 2020.
I know I could have done better. But you got to decide. You want to be somebody or not.
We're trying to paint this white nationalist movement as a movement primarily of poor and working class Americans, when the truth is that the alt-right is actually led by better educated and frankly pretty well-to-do people.
In his initial foray into the public spotlight, Vance was very much anti-Trump. His book made clear that he was a conservative. Many people latched onto it as an explanation for Trump's sort of surprise success in the Republican Party and then in the election.
When Vance launched his campaign for the Senate in 2021...
All right, I'm done. I'm not going to keep watching this propaganda piece anyway.
The assassination...
Oh, stop.
Tonight, we're learning more
Is
about the man
anyone
who
live
attempted
right
to
now?
assassinate.
All right, we don't fucking care about Soma. Detractorism is. Raw DSP. Lefty is. One the Deranged is. Perry's also live, so you got a few choices on where to go. Let's see how Len's doing while I wrap up.
I almost want to pay him money just to beat his ass in a fighting game and make him cry.
Let me keep it a little low, so. Alright, so yeah, that was it. Just a really quick kind of stream to give my personal thoughts on what happened. Yes, this is a political stream. So this is probably the only time I'll allow people to talk about politics, I guess. Or as long as you guys aren't really freaking out and like screaming at each other, you know what I mean? I don't know where the other guy who's usually watching my streams is, because you two would probably be fighting each other right now if that was the case. But anyway, and also I wanted to cover the whole Boogie Lion thing a little bit too at we call it the tail end of the dumb lolcow live show.
Ooh, excuse me. Come on, man. Oh, by the way, as frustrating as Street Fighter 6 is, I'm pleased to announce...
I'm gonna disagree with JDX with you a little bit there. I don't think the left is just pure evil and reactionary and all that. I don't think that's the same thing there. I think you're a little biased, just a bit. But that's fine.
That's by blood game.
Again, but yeah, like it seems very suspicious that like they were it's either incompetence or they were understaffed or they didn't react fast enough. Because at the end of the day, I don't like Trump, but I don't think he deserves to die. I don't think he deserves to be shot at. That's kind of fucked up. And this is a historical occurrence. No matter what side you are, this is going to go down in history. And I'm just honestly kind of sick of dealing with living through one historical event over another historical event constantly every other fucking day. But I guess that's just the life of a millennial, is just witnessing all these historical events fucking happening, not really being able to do anything about it, and just watching a bunch of idiots lose their mind on social media about it. You know what I mean? So it's like, Oh, Granddad, where were you when Trump shot it? I remember, Billy. I was on Twitter. Oh, I mean X right now. And Elon Musk, you remember that moron who thought he could go to the Mars? Yeah, that guy. And we were all over there saying,
1,600 rank points.
you know,
at the very least, he's not ever going to reach legend.
waving out MAGA hats and flags. I don't know.
How are you? Welcome, Adam.
But yeah, that was basically it for this stream. Thank you everyone for stopping by. Thank you for sharing your opinions one way or the other on it. I do appreciate your opinions in it not just being a hug box when people are just agreeing with me and not challenging the thoughts that I have and offering opposing viewpoints and stuff. I do appreciate that a lot. Oh, what game is Len starting? Gotta love the PS2. I love the PS2. PS2, PS1, oh, classic.
You gonna go for them all, DSP?
But yeah, that'll probably be it. I might do a stream Thursday or Friday, a catch-up DSP stream. But I just want to do like a really quick stream.